headlines. The President congratulates Saudi Arabia on the remarkable achievement of securing the bid to host 2034 FIFA World Cup. The President forwards nominations for membership of the Elections Commission and Maldives Broadcasting Commission for Parliament approval. And a devastating fire in a government building in Male City has brought 3 separate ministries to a halt, with public services temporarily suspended.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Idham Naim. President Dr. Mohammad Muiz extends his congratulations to the custodian of the 2 holy mosques, His Majesty King Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, and the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, His Royal Highness Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, on the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia's remarkable achievement of securing the bid to host the 2034 FIFA World Cup. In a social media post, President Dr. Muiz highlighted that the milestone achievement is a testament to Saudi Arabia's growing global influence, unwavering determination, commitment, and exemplary leadership in the global arena. He added that it is a proud moment not only for the kingdom, but to the entire Arab world and the broader Islamic community. Concluding his message, President Dr. Muiz expressed anticipation for a World Cup that will not only showcase athletic excellence, but also celebrate unity, culture, and innovation. President Dr. Mohammad Muiz forwards nominations for membership of the Elections Commission and Maldives Broadcasting Commission for Parliament approval. The nominations were sent as the terms of Broadcasting Commission President Mariam Wahida and Commission member Ali Yusuf had expired. The President has sent a dozen names to the Parliament in order of his preference. Nominations for Broadcasting Commission: Muhammad Abdullah, Ibrahim Muaz Ali, Ibrahim Ashraf, Lieutenant Colonel retired Zubair Ahmad Manik, Abdullah Humaid, Aishat Diana Tahir, Aminat Sarahat Izzat, Shimla Ahmad, Ismail Shafiq, Shifza Mustafa, Ali Nishan, Muhammad Shamim. The President has sent 2 names to Parliament for appointment to Elections Commission after the post of Vice President Ali Nashat and a member Muhammad Asif became vacant. Muhammad Zahid and Abdul Rahman Salah Rashid have been nominated by the President to fill the vacancies. Members of independent institutions after the nominations by the President are approved by the Parliament. A devastating fire in a government building in Male City early Thursday brings 3 separate ministries to a halt, with public service temporarily suspended.
A devastating fire in a government building in the capital Male early Thursday has brought 3 separate ministries to a halt, with public services temporarily suspended. The building, which houses the Ministry of Housing, Land and Urban Development, the Ministry of Construction and Infrastructure, and the Ministry of Climate Change, Environment and Energy, has been severely damaged, almost beyond use. In 3 separate statements, the ministry said that the fire had crippled their operations and that they have been forced to suspend public services for now. However, the Construction Ministry and the Environment Ministry said that they were trying to work out a solution to resume services. Meanwhile, the Housing Ministry said that it was switching most of its services to a building in the reclaimed suburb Hurumale. The fire was reported just after sunrise, and the fire and rescue services of the Maldives National Defence Force (MNDF) had worked hard for hours before the blaze was finally brought under control. In response to the emergency, the National Disaster Management Authority (NDMA) said that it identified around 50 people in need of assistance following the fire. NDMA Chief Hisan Hassan told PSM News that it was ready to provide shelter and financial assistance to those in need, adding that rescuers are doing a rapid assessment of the houses around the vicinity of the fire. Thick smoke emanating from the fire had spread to large parts of the capital city, with the Ministry of Health urging caution. The Health Ministry has advised to seek immediate medical care if experiencing breathing difficulties or dizziness, adding that people with respiratory and heart conditions would be more vulnerable to the effects of smoke inhalation. It has also urged the public to close doors and windows to prevent smoke from entering and to steer clear of smoke-affected areas unless absolutely necessary. According to the authorities, despite the severe damage to the building, no one was hurt in the incident.
National Disaster Management Authority (NDMA) says that over 24 people are in need of shelter after the devastating fire in a government building in Male City. According to the authorities, the building, which houses the Ministry of Housing, Land and Urban Development, the Ministry of Construction and Infrastructure and the Ministry of Climate Change, Environment and Energy, have been severely damaged almost beyond use. Several houses around the vicinity of the building had also suffered varying degrees of damage. According to NDMA, authorities are now working to relocate 29 people, which includes 15 men and 14 women from 3 different residential buildings, to temporary shelters. NDMA has converted Maldives Center for Social Education, MCSC, also known as the Social Center, into an emergency evacuation center. Authorities have also initiated efforts to offer psychosocial support to the victims. In response to the emergency, NDMA had said it had identified around 50 people in need of assistance following the fire. The fire was reported just after sunrise, and the Fire and Rescue Service of the Maldives National Defence Force had worked for hours to control the blaze. Fire department has now said the fire has now been fully controlled. However, the fire brigade said to PSM News that the effects of the fire are still inside the building. The Parliament adopts the government's proposed foreign currency bill, Forex bill, designed to mitigate the ongoing foreign currency shortage in the country.
The Parliament on Thursday adopted the government-proposed foreign currency bill, Forex bill, designed to mitigate the ongoing foreign currency shortage in the country. The bill, which mandates tourism facilities to exchange a portion of their foreign earnings through local banks, was passed with a majority vote of 56 lawmakers. The Forex bill, drafted by the Maldives Monetary Authority (MMA) with input from various stakeholders, was presented to the Parliament by parliamentarian Ibrahim Falah. Following its introduction, the bill was reviewed by the Parliament's Public Accounts Committee behind closed doors. After consideration and some amendments, the committee endorsed the bill on Thursday, paving the way for parliamentary approval. The bill mandates tourist resorts to exchange either $500 per tourist or 20% of their monthly foreign income through the banking system. Other tourism facilities, including guest houses and safari vessels, must exchange $25 per tourist or 20% of their foreign earnings every month. Among the amendments included in the final bill are provisions to increase the age limit for children exempt from requirements from 10 to 12 years old. Tourist resorts experiencing financial difficulties may also apply for a reduction in the percentage of foreign income required to be exchanged, subject to approval by the central bank. The passage of Forex bill comes at a time when lawmakers have been advocating for solutions to address the foreign currency shortage that has impacted the country's economy.
The government proposes a new law to the Parliament on gang-related and other dangerous crimes, aiming to empower authorities amid a major crackdown on local gangs.
The government proposes a new law to the Parliament on gang-related and other crimes, aiming to empower authorities amid a major crackdown on local gangs. The bill, sponsored by parliamentarian Mustafa Hussain, has included severe penalties for gang-related and organized crime, affording more powers to relevant authorities to clamp down local gangs operating throughout the country. The proposed new law also aims to rehabilitate those involved in such crimes and assist in their return to the society, along with establishing special mechanisms to monitor such individuals. According to the bill, founding and operating an organized criminal group has been listed as a criminal offense, which carries a 25-year prison sentence and a fine between $13,000 and $650. Aiding and abetting an organized criminal group will carry an 18-year prison sentence along with a fine between $6,500 and $325,000. Additionally, recruitment to an organized criminal group has also been specified as a criminal offense with a 20-year prison sentence and a fine between $6,500 and $455,000. Furthermore, child recruitment has been declared as a more serious offense which carries a 25-year prison sentence and a fine between $13,000 and $650. Aiding and abetting recruitment and intimidating witnesses are also criminal offenses under the proposed new law. The bill also carries a fine between $6,500 to $6.5 million for legal entities for any involvement in an organized crime. According to the bill, the Prosecutor General can pursue seizure of ill-gotten assets and funds of organized criminal groups and individuals associated with such groups through the court. The proposed new law provides for severe penalties for murder, assault, kidnapping, intimidation, and serious physical injury, resulting in the use of a weapon, with the death penalty reserved for murder, while those who commit other crimes face larger fines and long prison sentences. The bill would give law enforcement authorities the power to stop, search and arrest a person without a warrant if suspected of committing serious organized crimes, crimes using weapons, possession of weapons, manufacture and importation of such weapons, and will also give enforcement agencies wide-ranging powers to prevent such crimes.
Parliament ended its last session of the year and went into recess on Thursday. Before ending the final session of the session, Speaker Abdur Rahim Abdullah shared some statistics of the work and achievements of the third session. According to the Speaker, the Parliament had attended and completed 73.3% of the work during the session. In contrast, the last Parliament had achieved a 82.9% completion rate in its third session. Abdur Rahim said as many as 20 sittings were held during the session, which amounts to 67 hours. The various parliamentary committees had held 165 sit-downs, amounting to a total of 118 hours, he said. During the third session, Parliament had deliberated and passed as many as 20 laws, which included important legislations related to the economy and social issues. In addition, the Parliament during this session passed the state budget for the next year. Abdur Rahim also said one resolution, 13 motions by the government, 5 motions by the Speaker, and 4 emergency motions have also been attended to during the session, along with 13 questions to ministers. Minister of Defence Mohammad Ghassan Mamoon says the administration of President Dr. Mohammad Muiz is dedicated to safeguarding the safety and protection of all citizens, including within the digital realm.
Defence Minister Ghassan says that the administration of President Dr. Mohammad Muiz is dedicated to safeguarding the safety and protection of all its citizens, including within the digital realm. Speaking as the guest of honor at the opening ceremony of the Cyber Expo 2024, organized by the Maldives Police Service MPS, Minister Ghassan underscored the administration's dedication to cyber security. In his address, the minister highlighted that as the Maldives advances in the technological sector, President Dr. Muiz places a special emphasis on safeguarding the country's independence and sovereignty. He said that the administration is diligently working to uphold laws, maintain a safe and peaceful nation, and protect all citizens, both offline and online. He also noted the increasing reliance on technological advancements in the Maldives, particularly in business transactions, essential needs, and personal matters. While acknowledging the numerous benefits and conveniences brought by technology, he also warned of the risk it poses to national security. He cited instances where citizens' personal information had been compromised, leading to significant damage. Reiterating the administration's policy, the minister stated that the president is committed to ensuring the safety and protection of all citizens in the cyber domain, just as
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدا الوسيلة والفضيلة والدرجة الرفيعة وبعثه مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته وارزقنا شفاعته برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
حقوقنا ليست للبيع.
And the resumption of commercial activity.
ಹಫ್ತಾ ನಿಮಗೆ ದಾರು ದುನಿಯಕ ನಷ್ಟಹುದ ಎತ ಕಮೆಂಗ್ ಹಿಂಗಾಗಂದೆ
ತನತ ಹದಾಕುರ ಮಿಸ್ ಎಕಿ ಫಹಾರು ಎಕಿ ಗೊತ್ತ ಕಿತಂ ಅಡುತನ್ನೆ ನಿಬಿತು
ದುನಿಯಗೆ ಫೆಬ್ರುಗ ಬೊಡೆತಿ ಎತ ನಿಮ್ಮುಂತಕೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ
लुबनान बॉर्डर गातुगा यहूदीन गाम को फवात फात की आबादी तक मीहू मुस्कुरांजे फवानी
tahuziba mungana duniyega mi maulumata ingu muhimu ಹಫ್ತಾಗೆ ದುನಿಯೆ ಹೊಣಿಹಿರು ದುವಹುಗೆರೆ 22 ಕಡಿ ಸುಮ್ಮಿನಟುಗ PS ಮ್ಯೂಸಿಕ್
Wall Street's benchmark S&P 500 index rose on Wednesday, and a rally in tech stocks lifted the Nasdaq above the 20,000-point milestone for the first time after a U.S. inflation report boosted expectations of a Federal Reserve interest rate cut.
Wall Street's benchmark S&P 500 index rose on Wednesday, and a rally in tech stocks lifted the Nasdaq above 20,000-point milestone for the first time after a U.S. inflation report boosted expectations of a Federal Reserve interest rate cut. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dipped, dragged by health insurers as U.S. lawmakers introduced a bill seeing a scrimp in their profits. 5 of the 11 major S&P 500 sectors advanced, led by gains in communication services, technology, and consumer discretionary services. A Labor Department report showed U.S. consumer prices in November increased by the most in 7 months, through broadly in line with the market expectations. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 99.27 points or 0.22% to 44,148.56. The S&P gained 49.28 points or 0.82% to 6,084.19, and the Nasdaq Composite gained 347.65 points or 1.77% to 20,034.89. According to CME's FedWatch tool, markets are pricing in more than 96% chance that Fed will cut rates by 25 basis points next week, up from an 86% chance before the data.
To that, the backup that we had in 10-year rates, a couple of weeks ago, it was emblematic of that. I think that remains kind of the big bogey out there for investors going into the new year is, to what degree we see any surprises in the numbers. I think particularly the jobs numbers. If there were to be a surprise, I think it would come from there. And to what degree does that impact, the Fed path for rate cuts?
Bets had risen following Friday's employment report, which showed an uptick in employment alongside a surge in job growth. The yield on benchmark U.S. 10-year notes rose 5.2 basis points to 4.271%.
The Palestinian news agency reports at least 35 Palestinians were killed early on Thursday in Israeli bombings of various areas in the Gaza Strip.
The Palestinian news agency Wafa reported that at least 35 Palestinians were killed early on Thursday in Israeli bombings of various areas in the Gaza Strip. Wafa said the children and women were among 7 killed when a residential building in Gaza City, Al-Jalal Street, was bombed. The agency added that another 15 were killed in the bombing of a house where displaced people were taking shelter west of Nusayrat camp in the central Gaza Strip. According to Wafa, in the western area of Rafah City, south of the Gaza Strip, 13 Palestinians were killed and others were injured in a strike that hit people providing aid. Earlier, medics said at least 30 people were also wounded in the Rafah attack, with several in critical condition. Medics said that in the nearby city of Khan Yunis, another group of men tasked with security for aid shipments was hit by a separate Israeli airstrike that wounded several of them. Hamas said that Israeli military strikes have killed at least 700 police tasked with securing aid trucks in Gaza. Months of ceasefire efforts by Arab mediators, Egypt and Qatar, have failed to conclude a deal between the two warring sides. On Wednesday, the United Nations General Assembly overwhelmingly voted to demand an immediate, unconditional and permanent ceasefire between Israel and Palestine and the immediate release of all hostages. While General Assembly resolutions are not binding, they carry political weight reflecting a global view on the war. The United States, Israel and several other countries voted against the ceasefire resolution, while 13 countries abstained.
Saudi Minister for Sports Prince Abdulaziz bin Turki Al Faisal says people should come and see for themselves what the Gulf state is doing after they are awarded the hosting rights for the 2034 World Cup.
The Saudi Minister for Sports, Prince Abdulaziz bin Turki Al Faisal, has stated that the 2034 World Cup will be a tournament for everyone. The Gulf Kingdom was awarded the hosting rights for the Global Soccer Tournament following a FIFA Virtual Extraordinary Congress, where FIFA's president confirmed their bid by acclamation. Saudi Arabia will become the second nation from the Middle East to host the quadrennial tournament 12 years after neighbors Qatar staged the 2022 edition.
We welcome everyone to come to the kingdom. My message to everyone is come and see for yourself what we're doing. And you'll have a feeling of the transformation that has happened in Saudi Arabia for the past couple of years. And we promise everyone that we will keep on working hard to make Saudi Arabia a better nation for our people and to be open to the world, inshallah, for the future.
The 2034 bid by Saudi Arabia has been criticized because of the country's human rights record and desert climate, much in the same way as the Qatar event. Amnesty International and the Sports and Rights Alliance, SRA, last month urged FIFA to halt the process to pick Saudi Arabia as hosts unless it announces major reforms before the vote. The kingdom has invested heavily in the sport over the last few years, although critics allege it using its public investment fund to sport wash its human rights record. The country denies these accusations of human rights abuses and says it protects its national security through its laws. The Saudi climate will likely force FIFA to hold the tournament in the Northern Hemisphere winter, just like it did in Qatar, although Prince Al Faisal suggested that they would be able to hold the tournament at any time.
That's it for now. Thank you for watching PSM News. Have a good day.
मी जमानतक वंदन हल्लु नुवै ಗೆದೊರುಗ ಮಸ್ತದೆ ತಾಬದ ಇರಾದು ಕವಿಯ ಹಲ್ಲು ದಿಂದಾನ ಹಲ್ಲು ಕೊದ್ದೆ
ಅಳಗಣ್ಮೆಂಗೆ ಮೀ ರಾಜ್ಯಗ ತರಗ್ಗಿಗೆ ಗಿನ ಮಶ್ರೂತಕ್ಕೆ ಕುರಿಯಂಗೆ ಬಗೆಂದೆ